So in this lesson, we are going to write quite a few interesting tests. We are going to first update the initialization process of our previously written contract because we have introduced a new variable. So we need to put it into C4 storage in the beginning. So if you try run our test now, so if you do yarn test, it's going to fail because we will see that the trace of transaction, so we'll see that here we have a transaction, and the trace here, exit code is 9. So 9 exit code, you can see in documentation, it is under flow. It means that our code is trying to read something that is not stored in the storage. So we definitely know that it is happening like this because we don't put the proper owner address in the beginning. So to make this work, we should go to the wrappers and we need to check the function create from config because this is exactly the function that is composing the initial data of the contract. So first of all, we would need to update here with owner address. And then we are doing so here in config, yes, we would need to store it here. So we do store address again. So it would be config owner address. And basically now we see that here we would need to provide the owner address and we would have to, no, we cannot use this address. We would have to use some address. For tests, we could just create another treasury that would be the owner address. And we would also call it owner address. So it would be unique seed phrase for this treasury. So we create another wallet. And here we would put owner address. Actually, let's call it not address, but owner wallet. And here too, let's call it init wallet because it's actually wallet treasury. But once we're going to do deploy, we are actually going to put a real address on the blockchain for the owner because you will want to be able to actually withdraw these funds only like this. But now for test, we are fine with just a virtual treasury here. So one more thing to update in our wrapper file, if we get back to it, is the get data method. So here we would now do owner address and read address. So we save it too. And we would actually want to create another method here, which would be get balance. Because because we got one more getter method called get balance, and it would work like this. So we just simply, I would just do it like this, balance, yeah. So we're just running the get method on the contract, and this is just a wrapper for this functionality. So now, as we updated the get data, we updated the initial state when we create from config, we store the address of owner. We would expect our tests to actually work because now the transaction is not going to fail with underflow, and our initial test that we did actually is supposed to work. Exactly. So now we want to create a test for depositing funds. So it is quite simple, but we will need to do some transformations. So before we will have multiple tests now, what we want to do, we want to refresh our contract before every test, because our tests are not meant to be done sequentially. We want to test each functionality on the contract, we want to refresh it. So basically it would mean that there is a hook before each. This is just functionality. So basically, we are going to move out some of the definitions into the describe block. So blockchain, my contract, sandbox contract. I will also import this from sandbox, this type, and also this wallet contracts. We will just import them from here. So we are basically moving out these variables here. And now we're actually initializing them and doing address calculation here inside of the before each. So this thing is executed before each test is run. So we would create a new blockchain. Actually, we don't have to create a new blockchain every time, but yeah, we would want to do that because we want our contract to be refreshed. So we do, obviously, init wallet, owner wallet, we import code, just like we learned, and we are opening contract with create from config and provide it with proper data. So now this thing here, we don't need. So we already, so we already have a contract. So my contract is defined here, actually here. And now let's try to run the test. It is supposed to work because we simply just changed the structure of the contract. And now we will introduce one more test. So our test should get the proper, this is actually, this is just a wrong test. This is the test that we already have here. So, and now let's create kind of like a draft for the rest of the tests. So this test is working well. So now we do successfully, this test is supposed to be successfully depositing funds. This one should return deposit funds if there is no command send. So deposit requires a command, the deposit. And this one is going to successfully withdraw funds on behalf of owner. This one will fail if the withdrawal was requested from non-owner user. And this one will fail if there is not enough funds on the balance to actually withdraw. But we will start with the deposit funds. So we are going to work with wrapper again. And here we had a method send increment, but here we are going to have a send deposit. So basically send deposit method, of course, we have to provide who is the sender. We have to provide the amount that message has to carry with it. And here we will compose a message body. So everything we need to put it is just an operation command, because we remember from our logic in the FunC contract that here we just need to read operation and that's it. We don't need anything else there. So basically we just compose it like this and just put the body into here. It's very simple for now. So now we would actually create a sender wallet, just like in the previous test. This function has to be asynchronous. So we create a sender wallet, then we deposit, this is like deposit message result. We trigger this send deposit method on my contract. We put the sender as the sender wallet, and we say we want to deposit 5 ton. Then we would use the matcher that we already know from the sandbox to have a transaction. So we expect that the transaction from this sender to address of contract should be successful. And then we could run the get balance getter method from the via the wrapper, and we would expect that the result, the balance, to be greater than 499. So because you know that once we deposit 5 tons, we can, for example, just try to put here 5, but it will be failing because obviously some of the coins will be spent on commission, even on virtual blockchain. So we got an error, which is not looking like some close value that we had here, but it more looks like an error. So the test failed not because we got wrong amount, but because we got wrong data here. If we go back to the main FC file with the balance, we can see that the getter method is here called balance, while here in the test file, actually in the wrapper, we are calling get balance. So it's just a wrong getter method that is called. So now let's get back to the test again and do this test with 5. So let's see this, some like small portion of the coins is actually spent on the commission. Again, failed, but this time it actually looks like balance. So basically, I would expect it to be greater than 4.99. So I know that balance, it was 0 in the beginning, and now it's actually greater than 4.99. So deposit was successful. Great. The test is working properly. Next test. And this time we are going to try sending funds without the operation code. So it is supposed to fail. So we create a new method, send no code deposit. It means that we'll just send empty message body, and it is supposed to be bounced. So how do we actually test it? Let me get back to tests. So we just do the same thing, but we will do different expectations on the code. So again, it has to be async function. So we do sender, yes. We send no code deposit. And then we use the matcher to have transaction from this address, from the sender wallet to my contract, and it actually should be failing. And the balance should be obviously 0. Let me try testing it. So, I did to be greater, to equal, it should equal 0. So now it's gonna work. Okay, we got one more issue. So we get 0, and here we get, okay, should get just 0 because there is a number. Yeah, so because we expecting some nano coins in 0, but actually what we get from there is a number. Great. So now we could move to the next test, which is when we withdraw funds on behalf of owner. So we go back to wrappers. So you already got used to the fact that to interact with the contract, we are going to create new methods on our wrapper. And this one will be send withdrawal request. So just like in previous methods, we are composing a message body. So we do builder, we store integer 3, again 32 bits, and then we put the amount. So you see that when using this method, we are going to pass the amount that we want to withdraw. And then, of course, we just put this message body. So we will now create one more test in our test file. Again, it has to be async function. And what happens there? Again, we create sender wallet. We send a deposit of money because now we have to first top it up to actually withdraw some money. And then we send withdrawal request method. And we have to specify, just like always, we have to specify the sender, and owner wallet. Owner wallet is used here because we initiate the contract with owner wallet, right? So we have to specify owner wallet as a sender. And then we just put a little bit of value to pay commission, and then we say how much of the Toncoin we want to withdraw. So, and what we expect there to have a transaction that would be actually from my contract address to the owner's address. And it has to be a successful transaction with a value of 1 ton, because here I actually use, it can be used just like this, and this doesn't matter. You probably understood it, right? So we're topping up the contract, then we are sending a transaction on behalf of owner wallet, and the successful withdrawal that we expect is that there's going to be a transaction from the contract to the owner wallet address. And it has to be successful, and it has to have a certain value that we would expect it to have, right? Let's go for it. Yes. So test worked. The next test we're going to do is we will try to actually withdraw funds with an error. So basically, we will try to make the contract to fail, but we want to expect it to fail with a certain error. So if we get back to the fancy contract, you can see that it would fail with error 103 if the sender of the message who's requesting withdrawal is not the owner address. So let's get back into the tests. As you can see, here we were setting the owner wallet, so it would supposed to be successful. But here we set the sender wallet, which is not owner. So just to initiate contract here, as you remember, we initiated the contract with the owner's wallet, seed phrase. We always generate treasury with seed phrase. And here we have sender wallet. So we basically, again, we put some money for transaction fee, and then we put the whole ton coin, one coin, we try to withdraw it. So again, sending withdrawal request. So and now we expect this transaction to actually fail. So we expect the transaction from sender wallet address to my contract address, and success should be false, then exit code should be 103. So let's see that this test is supposed to also be successful. Great. So our test succeeded. So we can move to one more last test that would actually be very similar to. So it would fail to withdraw money, but now with the error 104 actually. And why? Because we don't, you see, prior to sending withdrawal request, we don't actually send the top-up transaction. So we try to withdraw 1 ton, and because in the before each hook, our contract is refreshed, it doesn't have money from the previous contract, from the previous test. So we would expect to have a transaction that is false successful, and the exit code is different. So at this point, we are going to check, and if this test is going to work too, that means that your contract is now tested. Awesome. The contract is tested, and I have to say that I'm proud of you. If you made it this far, this is just amazing. I really looking forward for the next lesson too, because we are going to actually deploy this contract to the testnet. And I will tell you even more, we are going to deploy this contract to a mainnet because we want to do something very special in the next 2 lessons. So I hope you're going to watch them, and see you soon.